Every day, I sit down to tell a new story horror. This one's close to my heart. Some stories, you see, aren't just borrowed whispers or old legends. Some of them have blood and bone tangled in them. This one's mine, though I wish it weren't. And I'm not telling you because I enjoy reliving it, but because maybe, just maybe, it'll keep you from making the same mistake I did. The year was 1997, and I was 21, cocky in that way you are when you're old enough to believe nothing can touch you, but young enough not to realize that everything can. My small town sat on the edge of West Virginia's endless woods. We had one gas station, a couple of broken-down diners, and a factory that had closed so long ago that vines had climbed over its rusted smokestacks like they were reclaiming some forgotten monument. That's where the house was. It wasn't exactly in town, but squatting a few miles down the dirt road that wound behind the factory, hidden beneath a tangle of pine and oak. Folks called it the old Kittredge place. Nobody remembered the family, at least not in a way that lined up. Some said they'd vanished. Others swore the father had been hanged for murder. Me? I never cared much for gossip. Not back then. But here's the thing. Kids dared each other to spend a night there, and I was the sort of fool who couldn't back down from a dare. The first time I saw it, the house didn't look haunted. It looked hungry, like it had been waiting too long for someone to step inside. Its windows sagged downward, frames warped, and the wood had rotted to the color of old teeth. The air smelled damp, like wet stone and iron. I told myself ghosts weren't real. But I brought a flashlight, a pack of smokes, and my best friend Tyler anyway. He was the one who egged me on, grinning with that gap-toothed smile. One night, he said, and we'll prove it's just a pile of boards. So we went in. The inside was worse than the outside, hollow, but not empty. The air clung to your throat like it didn't want you breathing it. My flashlight beam caught moth-eaten curtains swaying in windows with no glass, and a staircase slouching under the weight of time. And then we heard it. Not a creak, not the wind, a humming, low and steady, like someone singing to themselves in the next room. Tyler whispered, "Hello," in that shaky way you do when you don't actually want an answer. But we got one. The humming stopped. A woman's voice, soft, sing-song, rose from the dark upstairs. "Come up." I wanted to run. God knows I should have. But Tyler smirked at me, like if I bolted, I'd be branded a coward forever. So we climbed. The stairs moaned under each step. At the top, the hole stretched out longer than it should have, with doors that leaned crooked in their frames. One door was open, leaking out that soft glow that didn't come from moonlight or bulbs. It looked wrong. "Go on," Tyler whispered, shoving me forward. I pushed the door open, and there she was. Not a ghost, not a monster, at least, not at first glance. Just a woman in a faded white dress, sitting in a rocking chair. Her hair was long and dark, falling in strings across her pale face. She didn't look up. She just kept rocking, humming, as though we weren't even there. Something about her made my stomach knot. Her movements didn't match the sound. Her lips weren't moving with the tune, and her chair creaked too fast, then too slow. Like time around her was broken. Tyler whispered, "Hey, lady, you okay?" That's when she looked at us. And I swear to you, the whites of her eyes weren't white at all. They were black, like ink spreading across paper. The humming cut off. She smiled. "Stay." I don't remember much after that. Not clearly. I remember Tyler screaming, the chair slamming to a stop, and shadows on the walls stretching like they were alive. I remember hands, too many hands, grabbing at us from the corners of the room. We ran. God, did we run. I don't know how we made it out, but we stumbled into the night, gasping like drowned men. Tyler's arm was bleeding, like something had clawed him. He wouldn't talk about it. Neither would I. But here's the part that keeps me up. When we made it back to town, I swore the house was behind us. Not just the woods, not just the night, the house. Like it had followed us somehow. I could still hear the faint hum in the back of my skull, like she planted it there. And Tyler? He didn't stay my friend for long. A week later, he stopped showing up. His mom said he never came home from work one night. I know where he went. Back to the house. Back to her. I've spent years trying to explain what happened in that house. Logic says Tyler ran away, or maybe he got into trouble with the wrong people. But logic doesn't explain why I still wake up humming a tune I don't know. The truth is, the old Kittredge place wasn't haunted. Not in the way folks talk about ghosts. It was alive. The house wanted us. Needed us. See, some places rot from the outside in, but others rot from the inside out, and the rot spreads. That house had teeth. Not wood and nails, but hunger. After Tyler vanished, people started noticing strange things. A kid's dog went missing near the woods. A drifter was last seen walking down that road. Folks said they heard humming at night, floating on the air like smoke. I stayed away as best I could. Moved towns, took a job, tried to live normal. But the longer I stayed gone, the louder that humming got in my head. It's like she mocked me. Sometimes, I wonder if Tyler's still in there. Not alive, not dead, just kept, like a fly in a jar. And maybe that's the worst part, knowing some people aren't gone. Not really. They are trapped, forever, in places we can't see. I've come to believe every crime leaves behind an echo. You can bury a body, but you can't bury the violence. It stains a place. And if enough of it happens, the place itself starts to remember. That's what the Kittredge place was, a memory of every bad thing that ever happened under its roof, stitched together into something that could reach out and take more. You think I'm just telling ghost stories? Maybe. But answer me this. Why do people still vanish along that stretch of road? Why do hunters find deer torn open, but no predator tracks nearby? Why does no one in town dare say the house's name after dark? Because the house doesn't just wait. It calls. And I'm telling you this because someday you might hear it. Might feel that tug at the back of your skull when you're driving through some forgotten town and see a sagging roofline peeking out from the trees. When you do, remember this, not every door should be opened. Not every voice that calls your name is a friend. The house wants you curious. It wants you brave. It wants you proud enough to prove you aren't scared. Don't take the day. Don't go inside. Because once you hear the humming, it never really stops. And the house never really lets you go. They say if you ignore something long enough, it goes away. I used to believe that. Thought if I never set foot near the Kittredge place again, if I drowned myself in work, women, cheap bars, and louder cities, the humming would fade like a song you barely remember from a radio. But it didn't. It grew. 10 years after Tyler vanished, I was living 2 states over, in a dull little apartment with a leaky sink and neighbors who fought like their marriage depended on volume. I was 31, already tired of life in a way a man shouldn't be. Every night, I lay in bed and swore I could hear it. That hum, soft, steady, inside my bones. Not in the walls, not outside the window, inside me, like a second heartbeat. One night, I dreamed of the house. Not the sagging wreck I remembered, but whole again. Its wood gleamed, its windows glowed with warm lamplight, and music, real music, poured out of it like an invitation. In the dream, I walked up the porch steps and saw shadows moving inside. Families laughing, a child chasing a dog, a mother humming as she rocked a baby to sleep. It looked safe. It looked alive. But then I saw them, faces at the windows, not smiling, staring, all of them with eyes as black as spilled ink. And behind their teeth, the same smile I'd seen on her, the woman in white. I woke drenched in sweat, whispering a song I didn't know. That was the night I realized the house hadn't just taken Tyler. It had taken a piece of me, too. I tried therapy. I tried prayer. I even tried whiskey thick enough to drown a horse. Nothing worked. The humming stayed, patient as rot, and then the letters started. No return address. No handwriting I recognized. Just single sheets of paper, folded twice, slipped under my door in the night. The first one said, "Come back. He's waiting." The second, "You left him. Don't you want to see what he's become?" The third came with a Polaroid. My stomach turned when I saw it. Tyler, or something that looked like him. His body thinner, stretched, like a scarecrow stuffed with the wrong straw. His face pale, eyes black, smile wide enough to split his cheeks. And in the background of that picture, the house. Oh, glowing. I burned the photo, but it didn't help. The humming grew louder. Soon, it wasn't just in my head. It followed me into the world. Walking to the corner store, I'd hear it drifting from alleyways. Riding the subway, I'd catch it under the squeal of metal wheels. Once, in the middle of a crowded diner, every person in the room went still at once, their forks halfway to their mouths, their eyes rolling black as they all began to hum in unison. When I blinked, it was gone. Everyone was normal again, chewing, talking, unaware. That was when I stopped denying it. The house wanted me back. And some part of me, God help me, wanted to go. Not out of bravery. Not even curiosity. No, out of guilt. Tyler had dared me. Sure, but I'd gone along with it. I'd pushed open that door. I'd stood there frozen while he screamed. And when we fled, I didn't look back to see if he was behind me. I just ran. That guilt had sat in me for years, festering. And now the house was using it, pulling at it like a hook in my chest. I told myself I wouldn't go. I packed bags, moved again, tried to vanish into another city. But the letters found me. The Polaroids kept coming. Some showed Tyler. Others showed me. Sleeping, eating, standing at bus stops. Always with a house behind me, glowing in the distance. One night, I woke to find one taped to my bedroom mirror. This time, the photo was of me. Only it wasn't me now. It was me as a boy, 12 or so, standing on the porch of the Kittredge place. My child self stared at the camera with black eyes, humming written across the photo in looping ink. That broke me. That's when I understood. The house wasn't just waiting. It was rewriting, pulling me backward, forward, inside out, making me part of it, piece by piece. So I made a choice. I'm not proud of it. I don't even know if it was my own choice or one the house whispered into my bones. But I packed my car, drove all night, and found myself back on that dirt road behind the factory, headlights cutting through the thick, endless trees. And there it was. The house. Whole again. Not rotting, not forgotten. Fresh paint gleamed on the siding. Curtains swayed in lit windows. Smoke curled from the chimney, like it had been waiting all along. I killed the engine and just sat there, staring. My chest ached with the pull of it, the humming so loud I thought my ribs might crack. And in one of the upstairs windows, I saw him. Tyler. Oh, what was left of him. He didn't wave, didn't move, just stared down at me with those ink-black eyes. And then the front door creaked open. The woman in white stood there, rocking chair nowhere in sight. Her hair flowed down her shoulders like ink spilling into water. She smiled, the same terrible smile I remembered. And in a voice as soft as lullaby, she whispered across the night, "Welcome home." I don't know what I expected when I stepped out of the car that night. Maybe for the house to vanish like smoke once my feet hit the dirt. Maybe for Tyler to rush out, arms wide, the whole thing revealed as some cruel trick of the mind. But the house didn't vanish. It breathed. Every board, every nail, every brick swelled and sank like lungs. The ground beneath my boots pulsed with the rhythm of the humming. It wasn't a sound anymore. It was a living heartbeat, shaking the earth. I wanted to run. God, I wanted to. But fear and guilt are strange companions. Sometimes they chain you more tightly than courage ever could. So I walked toward the porch. The woman in white waited in the doorway, swaying as though she still rocked in her invisible chair. Her eyes glittered in the lamplight, but not like jewels, more like oil on water, shifting, never still. "You came back," she whispered. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the trees, echoing like a hymn. I froze at the bottom step. "Where's Tyler?" She tilted her head, lips curling into a smile. "He never left." And then she stepped aside. I should have turned. I should have bolted. But the house wanted me curious, wanted me guilty, wanted me proud enough to think I could fix what had been broken. So I climbed the steps and crossed the threshold. The air inside pressed against me like water, thick and heavy. The rot I remembered was gone. The house looked new, walls gleaming, chandeliers glowing with soft golden light. But it felt wrong. Too perfect, like a stage set. And in the parlor, he Saturday, Tyler, or something wearing Tyler's skin. He was thin, impossibly tall now, limbs stretched like they'd grown without his consent. His mouth was too wide, split into a smile that revealed far too many teeth. But his voice was still his, broken and small. "You came," he whispered. I took a step toward him. What did she do to you?" His smile trembled, and for just a moment, his black eyes flickered with something human, fear. "She kept me. She keeps all of us." And that's when I saw them. Shadows filled the corners of the room. Men, women, children, all staring, all humming softly. Some had faces I recognized from old missing posters. Others looked like they'd been pulled from different decades altogether. Their clothes didn't match any time I knew, but their eyes, all the same. Black, endless. The woman in white drifted behind me, her voice curling into my ear. "It's not a curse. It's a kindness. The world forgets. I remember. I keep them safe." I spun on her, rage finally breaking through the fear. "Safe? You eat them." Her smile widened. "Do you think they suffered less out there? Forgotten? Lost? I gave them a home. I gave you a home." And for a heartbeat, just one, I almost believed her. Because wasn't that what I'd been running from all these years? The world outside had chewed me up, spit me out, left me alone. No family, no real friends. Just a hollow man with a hollow job, carrying guilt like a second skin. The house promised an end to that. A place where I'd never be alone. Tyler reached out, his long fingers trembling. "Stay," he whispered. "Don't leave me again." The humming swelled, filling my skull, pressing tears into my eyes. My knees buckled under the weight of it. For a moment, I almost gave in. But then I remembered the photo. The one of me as a boy, black-eyed and smiling. I remembered how the house wasn't just keeping people. It was changing them, twisting them into puppets, stripping away everything they once were until only the hunger remained. And I realized the cruelest truth of all. Tyler wasn't begging me to save him. He was begging me to join him, so he wouldn't have to be alone in his damnation. I staggered back, shaking my head. "No, this isn't safety. This isn't home. It's a prison." The woman's smile faltered for the first time. Her voice sharpened, cold. "Then you'll go back to your world of forgetting. You'll grow old, alone, empty, and you'll wonder every day if you made the wrong choice." Her words sank like hooks. She knew me, knew my weakness. But sometimes the bravest thing you can do is live with emptiness rather than let something fill it for you. I stumbled toward the door. The shadows stirred, whispering, reaching out. Tyler screamed, not in pain, but in fury. "Don't leave me." His voice cracked into something inhuman. "Don't leave me again." The humming became a roar. The walls shook, the chandelier crashed, black-eyed figures surged forward. I threw myself through the doorway, onto the porch, into the night. And just like that, the humming stopped. The house behind me sagged, crumbled, its glow extinguished like a snuff candle. By the time I scrambled into my car and gunned the engine, it was nothing more than a rotting husk again. But I know it's not gone. The house doesn't die. It waits. It rebuilds itself when it finds a right thread to pull. It'll sing again to someone else who's lonely, guilty, proud, or foolish enough to listen. And me? I still hear it sometimes. Late at night, when the world is too quiet, I catch myself humming that same tune. Soft, steady, a second heartbeat. Maybe one day I'll give in. Maybe one day the house will call me home for good. But until then, I'll tell this story. Because not every prison has bars. Some prisons smile. Some prisons hum lullabies. And not every voice that calls your name is a friend.